Good morning, friends. The thermometer said 46 degrees, so I decided not to go outside today, even though I wanted to. Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday. In this video this week, I thought I would talk about a mindset shift that I have made over the last several years that has been really helpful to me. I observe in other people and have found definitely with myself that when I first started learning about health and trying to get healthy, I wanted to try to make it like a religion, like one truth, like a list of good and a list of bad, and that would be a list of healthy foods and a list of unhealthy foods. And if you stick to the healthy foods, then you're righteous and good and holy, and if you eat something off the bad foods, then you have to repent. And I think that's just a natural tendency as humans. We want the truth. But what I have come to learn for myself as the truth is that eating is not a religion. And the idea of healthy foods and not healthy foods are completely dependent upon the context of the person that is going to be consuming those foods. So for example, if there were a starving child in a third world country and he did not have anything to eat and he finds a Tootsie Roll and he is on the brink of starvation, that Tootsie Roll is a health food for that child. Can you imagine seeing that child with that Tootsie Roll and saying to them, do you know what that Tootsie Roll is made out of? Do you know what that Tootsie Roll is going to do to your blood sugar? Do you understand that blood sugar going up and down and crashing is really bad for your health? It's just totally insane to think about, because for that kid, that Tootsie Roll is life to him. And on the flip side, if I were to sit down and eat a big meal, maybe at Christmas, we all have a beautiful meal together, and by the end of it, I'm just full and satisfied and feel wonderful. In that state of fullness and satisfaction, go and get a cup of blueberries, something that is a health food. If I were to eat that in that moment, it would actually be unhealthy for me because my calorie needs are full. And one of the most unhealthy things you can do for your body is to overeat the amount that your body needs. And it doesn't matter what the food is. If your calorie needs are full, if your body is satisfied, and I know calorie is not a great term, I don't like that. We could use the term energy, something like that. But if your bodily needs are full, and on top of that, you eat something healthy like blueberries or a piece of grass-fed, grass-finished steak or pastured eggs, those foods will be unhealthy to your body. So a person who has articulated this idea really, really well and who I have learned from is Jade Teta of Metabolic Effect. I've done videos about his stuff in the past. I think he's very, very smart and he understands metabolism and human psychology really well. And he is very gifted in articulating this kind of thing. I will say he's not a keto guy, but he's also not a keto guy, because he is very much about finding what works for you. And so he says that if you come to him and you say, I'm on the jelly bean diet and I only eat jelly beans and I feel great and my lab work is great, he will tell you the jelly bean diet is right for you. So he put a post up on Instagram yesterday and I thought I would just read it for you. You guys should go follow him. I'll put the link to his Instagram in the description. At some point, it does come down to amounts. You can't freebase as many blueberries and avocados as your little heart desires just because you think those are healthy foods. Healthy foods is context dependent. If you are starving, then a deep fried bonbon with caramel drizzle and a sprinkle of moon pie dust is a health food in that context. Likewise, if you already consumed 4,000 calories today, an extra cup of blueberries is just adding to your issues. Maybe you're thinking, but Jade, what about inflammation? The most toxic, inflammatory, and aging thing you can do is overconsume calories. Yes, overconsumption of any calories. Yes, even your quinoa kale salad with organic, free-range, shade-grown, grass-fed, super green bone broth marrow concentrate. Quality and quantity matter. They are not opposites, they are synergists. You should care about both and stop eating like an asshole. FYI, this is essentially a note to myself. I just thought maybe it would help you too. I just really love that perspective of context and what it does for me. Not only does it help me make better decisions for myself, but it also helps me not to judge the people around me. It's very, very easy to judge a food, but it's harder when you don't know the context of the person eating that food. So you see them eating something, and typically you don't know their context. So it takes away that knee-jerk reaction of, that's bad, they shouldn't be eating that. You just like, I don't know. And I do think that people are different in what foods they're sensitive to and what foods do really well for them. This idea hit home with me a couple years ago when I found out that my son was allergic to eggs. Typically with most of the foods that I've cut out of my diet in order to feel better, they could be categorized as bad foods. Like cutting out wheat, it's just generally accepted these days that wheat is not a health food. And so it was easy to just cut that out and say, oh, I'm getting rid of a bad food and it's gonna make me feel better. But with my sweet boy, he was allergic to eggs, which is one of the most healthy foods on the planet, especially for kids. But if he gets even a bite, a tiny bite, one time he had 2 bites of a waffle, and in the entire waffle recipe there were 2 eggs, and he threw up for 4 hours, like until he's white as a sheet and a little floppy noodle that can't stay awake. Like that's how bad his reaction to eggs is. So maybe someone would see him at the breakfast buffet not taking a scoop of scrambled eggs and they would think, eggs are so healthy. Why is he just not eating healthy food? But the truth is that food for him is anything but healthy. Another thing I really love about this perspective is that it really helps reduce any urge to overeat, because when you've put yourself in a position with black and white, good and bad foods, the good foods are always good and the bad foods are always bad. And so the good foods, you could just eat them anytime, anywhere, any amount, and it's still a good food. But when you have the perspective that a good food is no longer a good food if you don't need it, that it actually turns into a bad food if you don't need it, it just shifts your mindset and it's easier to say no. I've totally been there, like when I've done Whole30 type diets or elimination diets where it's like fruit, oh, fruit is on the good list, so it's fine to eat whenever. But in reality, if I don't actually need it, then it should be on the bad list. So we as humans want a black and white list so we can know if we're being good or if we're being bad, and so we can look around at the people around us and we can judge them whether they're being good or they're being bad. It's very easy when you have that kind of a mindset. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of people in the YouTube comments that have that kind of a mindset. And when you're a YouTuber, you hear all about it. But what I have found helpful for me and what I encourage you guys to think about is context. And I feel like that mindset shift actually helps ground me in the moment, because when I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat, I have to think about my context right now, in this moment. I have to be aware and listen to my body and decide in my context in this moment if this is the right choice for me. And I love the idea that the only power that we truly have is in the moment. We like to put the idea of power in the future or in the past. And with the diet mindset, that can look like, tomorrow I'm going to start this strict plan and therefore, let myself go right now. And it's like taking the power that you have in the moment to make a decision that actually serves your body and aligns with your goals. And it puts that power in the future, which you don't even have. You don't have the future. So I guess that's what I'll leave you with. You have power in the present. You don't have power in the future. You don't have power in the past. You can't change either of those things. All you can do is what's in front of you right now. Be mindful, take into consideration your context in this now moment, and you have the power to make a decision that serves you and that aligns with your goals. Please share down in the comments your thoughts on all of this. I would love to read them. I've been loving the comments I've been getting on my Wellness Wednesday videos, just people sharing what's working for them, sharing stories of their life. It's been really, really cool. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you again in another video.